Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be doing another update of Washington Reagan National Airport. We have a very special visitor in today's updates which we will get to at the end of today's video, but for now we're just going to go through all the regular aircraft. So starting off here in the American Eagle section, here we have an American Eagle Embraer ERJ 145. He's arrived in from Windsor Locks in Connecticut and is going to be heading out to Huntsville, Alabama. These ERJ 145s don't really fly into Washington Reagan that much anymore. However, because of course I'm slightly lacking on the American Eagle aircraft, I add these in just to kind of fill up the American Eagle section. So that's why this aircraft is in today's update. Then next up here we have an American Eagle Embraer 175. He's arrived in from Boston in Massachusetts and is going to be heading out to Norfolk in Virginia. We then have this American Eagle CRJ-700. He's arrived in from Charleston in South Carolina and is going to be heading out to Memphis in Tennessee. Then next up here we have this American Eagle Embraer 170 in the retro color scheme. He's arrived in from Oklahoma City in Oklahoma and is going to be heading out to Birmingham in Alabama. Next up here we have this American Eagle CRJ-700. He's arrived in from Dayton, Ohio and is going to be heading out to White Plains in New York. And then finally here for the American Eagle section, here we have this American Eagle Embraer 175. He's arrived in from Knoxville in Tennessee and is going to be heading out to Tulsa in Oklahoma. Moving around to some of the main lines now, here we have this American Airbus A320. He's arrived in from Fort Myers in Florida and is going to be heading out to Jacksonville, also in Florida. We are seeing quite a few A319s into Reagan at the moment. I don't actually have any American A319s. Hopefully someone like NG will release an American A319 soon so I can kind of stock up on a few of them, because I would say as mainline American aircraft go, the A319 is probably the most common aircraft here at Reagan at the moment. Sometimes we'll get more 737s in, sometimes more A321s, sometimes more A320s. It kind of ebbs and flows, but at the moment the A319 seems like the most populous mainline aircraft. But then next up here we have this American Boeing 737-800. He's arrived in from Tampa in Florida and is going to be heading out to Dallas-Fort Worth in Texas. And then finally here for American, we have this American Boeing 737 MAX 8. He's arrived in from Miami, Florida, and is going to be heading back out there. Next up here, we have this JetBlue Airbus A320. He's going to be heading out to Nassau in the Bahamas. We then have this Alaska Boeing 737-800. He's going to be heading out to Seattle in Washington. And then here we have this Alaska Boeing 737-900. He's going to be heading out to San Francisco in California. Moving over to Delta now, here we have this Delta Connection Embraer 170. He's going to be heading out to New York LaGuardia. Then next up here we have this Delta Airbus A319. He's going to be heading out to Minneapolis in Minnesota. And then finally here for Delta, here we have this Delta Connection CRJ-700. He's going to be heading out to Raleigh-Durham in North Carolina. We then have this United Boeing 737 MAX 8. He's going to be heading out to Houston in Texas. And then here we have this United Boeing 737-800. He's going to be heading out to San Francisco in California. Next up here we have this Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700 in the heart color scheme. He's going to be heading out to Atlanta in Georgia. We then have this Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8. He's going to be heading out to Denver, Colorado. And then finally here for this terminal, we have this Air Canada Express CRJ-900. He is of course going to be heading out to Toronto Pearson in Canada. And then finally here for today's update, we have this Trump Boeing 757-200. He's arrived in from West Palm Beach in Florida. I will go over the history and the information about this aircraft when I come to unbox it, but I figured as it's such a unique aircraft, I would also do that in today's update. But yeah, this is the Trump Boeing 757-200. This is Donald Trump's flagship aircraft. He does also have a couple others, but this is essentially his main flagship aircraft. It's nicknamed Trump Force One. It was built in 1991 and started service with Sterling Airlines, which was a Danish airline up until 1993, where it then transferred to a Mexican low-cost carrier, where it operated with that airline until 1995. In 1995, it then became a corporate jet for Paul Allen until 2011 when Donald Trump bought it. But Trump has used this aircraft since 2011 and it was used primarily during Trump's presidential campaign just before 2016, leading up to the election. This is the aircraft he flew all around the country. Of course, during Trump's presidency, he couldn't use his own aircraft. He flew around in Air Force One. During that time, this aircraft was used by both the Trump organization as well as Trump's family. But the aircraft kind of fell into a state of disrepair and it was held at Stewart International Airport, which is just north of New York City. And as I said, this aircraft kind of fell into a state of disrepair as it fell behind on some maintenance checks. After Trump's presidency, he used a Cessna Citation X for a while as his main aircraft, while he then refurbed this aircraft. It flew down from Stewart to Lake Charles in Louisiana for a massive overhaul, and that's when the American flag was added to the tail of the aircraft. Before that, it featured a T. It was a letter T with a kind of stylized design, but during the aircraft's overhaul, Trump decided to add the American flag to the tail instead, and ever since the start of 2022, this has been Trump's main aircraft again. This aircraft has flown a number of times into Washington Reagan in the past, so I decided to add this aircraft into today's update. And honestly, no matter what you think of the guy, honestly, this aircraft looks amazing. I think it looks really good. But yeah, hopefully I can add this into another Reagan update in the future if Trump decides to fly it in here again. But apart from that, that does conclude today's update. I want to thank you very much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.